Alright, so a few weeks ago I got a chance to check out Assassin's Creed 3, and the presentation they gave us was about 3 hours long, and we had some time to interview the developers afterwards, but they only gave us about 15 minutes. But they showed us a lot more than we could fit into the interview, so I figured I'd kind of share some of the things I saw here in our first edition of First Take. So sort of the first big point that they made is that there is a huge focus on quality in Assassin's Creed 3. It has the longest dev cycle of any game in the franchise. They said by the time it's done, it will be 3 years. They're going to be alpha in a couple months, which was pretty surprising. They have 2 times the production capacity versus the Ezio trilogy, and they said it's the most senior team in the history of the Assassin's Creed franchise. So they are definitely going all in on this game. Now the game is set from 1753 to 1783. And the themes for the game are liberty or death, power and slavery, control and freedom, and be a nation's pioneer. The whole idea behind the game is that you are supposed to inspire the world to fight for freedom. Now, the Templars are in this game, and the irony here is that the Templars think that they're helping the world, and apparently this theme was supposed to carry on in all the Assassin's Creed games. I never really got that from the other games, that they actually felt like they were doing right. But they said that would be a lot more prevalent in this game. So Ubisoft basically said they want the player to feel like a historical tourist. Now, I think every game in this franchise has been that way. I haven't really seen a more accurate representation of sort of past civilizations that I've seen in this game. Now, Connor is his adopted name. He has a crazy Native American Indian name that even the producers were having problems pronouncing. But he is an outsider. Because he is half and half, he doesn't really have any sway with either sort of his European heritage or his Native American heritage. So he's kind of caught in the middle. Basically how the game starts, he sees his village destroyed. And he gets very frustrated. He confronts the unwillingness of his tribe to act. So ultimately he's pushed to join the assassins, and he promises to fight for freedom. And along the way you run into President Washington, Ben Franklin, Charles Lee. All 3 of those guys are big parts of the plot. So far they've told us that there are 3 cities in the game. Boston is the city that they kind of showed the demos for. New York is also in the game, and quite interestingly, they said that they had first considered Philadelphia to be the primary city for the game, although it looks like Boston now. The reason they decided to ditch Philadelphia is because the city is too gridded, and therefore it became boring. They didn't feel it would be fun to parkour through a city where everything is sort of lined up in a perfect grid. Now, obviously, traversal is a very important part of Assassin's Creed. In fact, the first Assassin's Creed, that's probably the element that really set it apart the most, being able to run, climb, jump wherever you want. Now, the big fear before I checked out this game was that, okay, sure, there's woods, there's a lot of forest, there's a lot of nature, but are they going to be able to get Connor to parkour through realistic trees? My fear was that all the trees would have right angles, and it would end up looking ridiculous, but nothing could be farther from the truth. The forests and woods in this game are just as random as any forest that you would walk through. It is absolutely amazing how they have worked the procedural animation into this game. Connor will react to every little branch, every tree trunk. You'll see him like kind of brush them away. He'll kind of slide around tree trunks. When he gets to a trunk, he does this quick shimmy around it. He can run out branches. It's awe-inspiring, to be honest with you. I've never seen animation like this in a game. The only thing I would say is close would be the Uncharted franchise. So I was really, really impressed with the parkour through the wilderness. Another cool thing that they showed us was another part where Connor climbs up a tree, runs out a branch, goes into the window of a house. There's a girl inside the house. She like freaks out, goes running. He runs through the house, dives out the window, back into the tree. So it's not like you're either doing the nature stuff or you're doing the city stuff, and I use that term loosely because the cities aren't particularly cities. It's all mixed together, and this is the first time you've been able to kind of mix the parkour from outdoor to indoor in an Assassin's Creed game. Now, the weather makes a huge difference in this game. There are seasons in the game that will change over time. They said that you will revisit some areas in the summer and then you go back in the winter. The snow will slow you down drastically. So a big part of trying to get away from enemies or navigate the environment is looking at how deep the snow is, trying to make sure you stay away from drifts and things like that. They said that the animation has been completely redone for this game, and I believe it having looked at it. They did keep a couple classics, like the Leap of Faith is the same, and they said they wanted to leave some of those tenets in the game, just so it kind of reminds people that they're playing an Assassin's Creed game, because it is so different that they felt like they needed kind of those mental joggers in the game to remind people that it is the AC franchise. They also wanted to make sure that the character was just as nimble in the woods as Ezio was in the city. And again, kind of going back to what my concerns were about parkouring through trees, they have absolutely nailed it. There are no hitches, there are no slowdowns. You move just as seamlessly through trees as you would through and over a bunch of buildings in the city. And then the other big part of it is because the game is in nature, the angles are crazy. Nothing is a 90-degree angle in the game. And what you may not realize is that a lot of games intentionally make everything flat or at a 90-degree angle because it makes it very easy for them to create animations that will work in any situation. I saw some stuff in this game that literally blew my mind. He was fighting someone at one point, he got backed up a little bit, and he kind of backed up into a huge tree trunk. He put his one leg up and put it onto the tree trunk as he continued to fight. This carried through the entire demo that they showed us. You could run around all willy-nilly, and he completely reacts realistically to every little change, bump, rock, tree stump, whatever in the terrain. It's a programming nightmare, and it's probably the thing that impressed me the most about the demo that I saw.